What is up, everybody? And today we're back with a new video. And today I'm just going to be going over my argostars deck profile. It's pretty simple. I've just worked really hard on the ratios and stuff. At my locals this last weekend, I went way higher than people thought. I went 3-0 with argostars. So nobody thought I was gonna do too well when I walked in there and said I'm on argostars. So here we go. If you can tell that some of my cards are sleeved and not sleeved, that's because I'm not gonna play argostars next tournament. I'm gonna be playing a different deck, White Forest Esmina. Then after I've experimented, then I'll go over a deck list and combo guide with you after the locals, like always. But I'm at 3-2. There were decks that did better. I believe I ended in 4th. Not bad for a deck nobody thought would be good going into it. So my ratios are pretty good. I had great consistency, and I will show you some combos with this deck that you can do. And some good hands that you can open. But first off, Glorious Aedra. Your main combo starter, you basically banish it to get 2 traps out for free, face up. Good combo starter for the deck. I like it. Next would be the triple Parth. Argostars Fierce Parth. Fierce Parth did actually come up. Both effects actually ended up coming up. Not just its summon effect. Sometimes I'd just summon it as a monster, so then when I summoned all my other cards, it got stupidly powered up, so it did actually come up. Now, that's it for the monsters, at least the Argostars monsters. We're getting into the spell cards now, and we run 3 Argostars Giant Slaying. Mandatory card, great for consistency, because you can use it to add Aedra going first or whatever you need to do. Next, another consistency card, being our not really consistency, but it helps with another card we have for consistency, but it's Argostars Home Stadium. I love this card because it's great recursion. I typically leave Aedra or Parth banished, but I'll add back one of them. It's always nice when I can get 2 Parth in rotation in banished zone, so then I have a bunch of utility from deck. Now we're going over cards we played in our deck. For consistency, Pot of Prosperity. Then I played double Extrav. I have a blank spot here because I borrowed an Extrav from a friend of mine there. So I played double Extrav, 1 Pros, the 1 Rhoda, because you run warrior monsters and it's to add those guys. So the roll 1 Rhoda, and the gold Sark, because you can banish, let's say, Aedra, use Stadium to add back. Now we're getting into the traps. I really like this ratio. I think if you're running it as an engine, the normal ratio is fine or whatever. I think you can go with whatever ratio you want. This is what I found to be the best. I'm just going to bunch up these cards really quickly, just so then it's less space. Yeah, no, this deck isn't. I ran it at 40 and it was pretty consistent, pretty good. I typically opened a playable hand, and by playable, I mean I wasn't doing horrible in the game state. I could live at least a turn before I could get things going or whatnot. Trap decks are labeled as pretty slow. I think Argostars is less slow, and that's just what makes it pretty good. But I ran triple Lightning. Lightning is really good because it's your main searcher for the deck to search out any of your cards. And so you run 3 of that. Then I did run the classic triple Lightning double Slayer Ito. Slayer Ito came up so many times, and between me and another person, this person consistently tops locals. His deck doesn't rely, but his deck, like most people use destruction to break through boards. Since Ito Slayer was here, I didn't have to use destruction. I just could like summon it, and then it would spin a card back to hand that was troublesome, and he really hated that. Now, this is the thing I don't think I'll be flamed on in the comments, but I think this is the thing that people are iffy about, or this is like a card people don't know how many to play, and it's the Argostar Swift Capane. I played 2 because my idea with this was 2 and 2. This way I can, going through the grind game and needing to go into my extra deck, I can go into it and still have those cards to use. Same, but Lightning you have more of, so it's more likely that you'll have them to use, but you can discard Lightning with Lightning, and I like discarding Lightning with Lightning better than using Lightning for Link. So Slayer Ito and Swift Capane were some links. I did link off Lightning a few times. You just got to use your judgment and playtest the deck. Now we're getting into the trap monsters that aren't a part of the argostars archetype. First one that's really good for this deck is we run one of each of these, and it's the first one, Statue of Anguish Pattern. You like Pattern. If you see it in your opening hand, you already know you have a good board, especially if you have Adrix. You have Lightning, because in your opening board, if you open this and this, you should at least have Lightning, the field spell, that's banished, Ito Slayer, and Pattern. What that means is you'll have Pattern on board, you'll have Ito Slayer, and Slayer, Ito, and Lightning. Lightning will summon on your opponent's turn. Ito Slayer can summon on your opponent's turn. Ito Slayer can spin a card, or Slayer Ito can spin a card because Adra's banished. Your stadium burns your opponent for 500. And then when you return them, it can negate an effect. You have Pattern, which then can destroy cards every time a card is summoned. It's really good. Next is the Angel Statue Azure. That card never came up for me at tournament. I never used Azure. I never even had it in my hand. There were just better cards for me to search. So honestly, I would consider cutting that for something else, maybe. But I'd probably keep it because it is a good card, but you could cut it for something else. If like you didn't want to play one of these and you had another idea for a continuous trap monster to play, you could cut that. Aporphis, I summoned Aporphis, I summoned Aporphis once for the negates. Other time I summoned him was just to link him off. Just as more material because I had him set for a turn. So, yeah. And then You're Finished. This card is so underrated. I think people's issue with it is like, oh, against combo decks, if you set it off of something like Rabbit, they're going to know what it is and they're going to read it. Yeah, I had people read it, but then guess what I had people doing? Still full comboing. They don't realize that it's not just 10 of their effects, it's 10 of yours. So if you set that card and you have Lightning, Ito, Slayer, Ito, and Swift Capane, then you can guarantee 3 effects are going to be activated on your opponent's turn, at least. Then if you also have set Giant Slaying, you can guarantee 4 effects. And if you have Home Stadium and you use, like, say, then you return with Swift Capane, then you guarantee 5 effects. And meaning your opponent will then have 5 effects to work with before you summon this. And then if they activate another effect, you board wipe them. I had people specifically playing or like around this card. I summoned it one time against a Blue Eyes player. He had to sit there and think for a minute and then eventually get it off the field without making a chain, which was really, really hard. And so I think You're Finished is underrated, and I think playing one of it was good, especially because I saw it in my opening hand quite a bit. I saw mainly in my opening hand, I was seeing for these 4 cards, mainly I was seeing a Pattern or a You're Finished, which both of those you like to see. Now, getting into the non-engine, so these are all the hand traps you can run in this deck, which this is insane. What I ran at the tournament was Triple Ash, Triple Droll. Triple Ash is for the Molcharmies. Somebody did Molcharmy me. It was Perulia, so I literally just ashed it because I still had Ash Blossom in my hand. Droll is Droll. Then I ran 2 Effect Veiler because I don't have Imperm. And Effect Veiler is still good. It's good. It's good if you don't have Imperm. Imperm is better. 2 Bestials for the different matchups that I might face. Then I ran the 1 Called By and the 1 Talent just in case my opponent hand traps me, or the Talent just so if they activate an effect on my turn for board breaking, I can break through a little easier. Now, going into my extra deck, this first card we ran was Castell. Never summoned him, always sent him off of Pot of Prosperity when I had the choice. Then Baguska, I summoned him once, and it was because I was desperate and I just needed time to do things. Tornado Dragon, also never summoned him. The idea behind him, I like it, but I never summoned him. Time Thief Reader, I summoned him once. He did come up. He was really good. Then you got the 1 Typhon, Sky Crisis. Never came up. Or, like, I never summoned him going second, but I should have more, and it would have been better. Zeus did come up. I did use Zeus. I board wiped my opponent, and that really helped me. Then going into links, you run the 1 Rabbit. The Rabbit came up so many times, it was so good. The SP Little Knight, I summoned the SP quite a few times. Moon of Closed Heaven, I also summoned that quite a few times. My opponents were not doing too great. Yeah. Then one Lena the Light Charmer. The idea was if I'm fighting a light deck, I can use that to link off into a Link 3, which I'll show you the Link 3 in a bit. But Haggard, Lizardos never came up. Never summoned him. Double Unicorn, actually. And that's what you use Lena for. You go Lena to summon Link for Link 3 Unicorn. Then hopefully you'll then just have another monster chilling around. So then you can go into this next card, Access Code. He came up quite a bit. I summoned him quite a bit. Really good boss monster if you need it in grind game and just to beat over things. Because then you can go Access Code, target Unicorn. He gains 3k. So he's really good. And then the last card, which did come up quite a few times, was also Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So yeah. Alright, let me show you. I'm going to show you the best hand I ended up drawing going first in the tournament. I drew, it was an absolutely, like, crazy going first hand. I drew one of each of those. I drew, the You're Finished and the Pattern. I drew this in my opening hand. This was insane. I'll show you what I did. Because this is crazy interruptions right here. I normally summoned Adra effect to banish. My opponent let that go through. They were fine with it. I then, sorry, this is a little hard because I'm doing this one-handed. So then off of Adra, I went Ito Slayer and Lightning. Now keep this in mind. I went Ito Slayer and Lightning. Okay? I did not summon them. Just because I had no extra cards to use because my hand is pretty full. Then I went Fierce Parth effect, return Slayer Ito to hand to summon Fierce Parth. Then I activated Giant Slaying. I went Giant Slaying to add Fierce Parth and summon it. So now I have 2 Fierce Parth, and my opponent thought, okay, you're going to Xyz. I didn't. I went Link for Link 2. Instead of SP, I went for the Rabbit. There's a reason I went for the Rabbit. Because I went for Rabbit and then added Aporphis, the Swamp Deity. Pretty good hand so far. Then I set Slayer Ito. And then I'm going to read Parth to make sure. Yeah, right? And then you have so many interactions. This was a really good hand. Yes, I couldn't summon Lightning, but look at all that. That's insane. Then I went set. I was very careful about where I set things. I set that there. So I set that there. I set the statue there, and I set the Aporphis here. Then in my opponent's, so this is what was set. Everything in the back row is what's set. Things that are forward were already up. So then what ended up happening is my opponent, during their standby phase, I flipped Slayer Ito and Pattern, I didn't. I just flipped Ito. Then when they activated a continuous spell, I flipped Pattern to summon, effect to destroy that. Then they went to activate an effect. I went Slayer Ito to summon, and then I spun a monster they had on the field back to their hand. And then I used this to destroy another card. That's already 3 effects that have, actually 4 effects that have activated this turn, because this effect activated to do that, that effect activated to spin, then this effect activated to destroy, and that effect activated to destroy. So destroy, summon, spin. Right, this is already crazy. Then I went Aporphis effect to negate 2. Right, they've also already activated a lot. So then I got to flip the Your Finish, summon the Your Finished, and they just had to pass there. Then when they passed, first thing I did Link for Link 2. Yep, you heard me right. I linked for a Link 2 because they were playing a light deck here. So I linked for the Moon of Closed Heaven. And please note, I did draw a card. It doesn't matter what I drew. I did end up summoning Lightning Link away. I went Moon of Closed Heaven effect. They did have 2 monsters out still. They just weren't able to full combo. So I used that Link for 2, 3, 4. And then I used this card for 5. I went Link 5 into Underworld Goddess. Then I went Lightning, discard, summon, effect to add. I added not the stadium. I added the Giant Slaying to my hand. Now I used Slayer Ito and You're Finished. And I linked those 2 off. For Lena, the Light Charmer, Lustrous. Lena, I then used to link off. And then I went into Nightmare Unicorn. Then I activated Giant Slaying. I believe I added Glorious Aedra. Summon Glorious Aedra. Then I banished the Glorious Aedra. To then face up, set a Swift Capane and a Slayer Ito. Reason being, my opponent had a face down card. And so I was expecting them to flip it. Their face down actually wasn't too big. It was just like a stall card, essentially. I believe. I can't quite remember what it was, but it was some like middle tier card. Wasn't the greatest. Then I can go, but I went Swift Capane to summon. They chained something to my Swift Capane. It didn't really matter because it was just a card for follow-up next turn. I was going to kill him this turn anyway. Then I trained Slayer Ito to summon. Then I went Link for access code. Access code effect, target unicorn. He gains 3k. So he's at 5-3. This is at 3k. Then I linked 2 for SB Little Knight. I believe I linked 2. No, my bad. I didn't link 2. Because I realized there was better routes here. Especially because my opponent had special summoned a lot last turn. So I went into Time Thief Redoer with these 2. Yay! Time Thief Redoer. And then I slapped a Typhon on top of that. They did... their face down did summon a monster. It wasn't too huge. I didn't get to kill them this turn because I attacked with Typhon into them. Then I attacked with that into them, and then that into them, but their monster came back. I forget what deck I was fighting here, but it was some deck. They had a lot of monsters that came back and stuff. So, right. Then I went main phase 2, summon Zeus. Now I have a 4 material Zeus, an access code, and a negate. I have no other cards. This is insane. My opponent starts playing. I go, no. They try to keep doing things. I banish my rabbit off of access code to destroy them. That monster with access code effect. Right? They think they're going to do good. Come my turn, Zeus. Come their end phase of their turn, Zeus. Yeah, I'm destroying my own monsters. I have a Zeus and they're low. I swung for game. This deck is good. You need to put in the effort, I would say, to learn it. But if you do learn it, it is a good deck. I liked it. So that is just the combos. And that was the deck profile in its entirety. Your side deck is purely up to you. What hand traps you run is purely up to you. Just know you have like 15 slots. So yeah. Anyways, peace.